What is up and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first Worth a Watch episode of 2021. Welcome to the channel. I know it has been quite a while since I've done a video, but alas, starting the year off with an insurrection here in America was nice, and then followed by a brutal Texas winter storm that affected myself and my family here. Losing power, our pipes bursting, having to literally just get the fuck out of here and find shelter in another relative's home. It's been a great year so far, Despite all those negative circumstances, though, and I know there's quite a bit, at the very least I can say my family remained safe throughout all of that insanity from the Texas winter storms. Not a good segue, I know, but I'm just gonna have to dive into this right here. Tom and Jerry, to me, is a very nostalgic thing. I loved watching these classic cartoons as a kid. I watched them a lot. I had VHS tapes of them, and I grew up with them. And these simple little jokes and slapstick humor is just something wonderful about these little characters that are mostly silent, and you see why they withstand the test of time. Even though if a lot of people don't care for slapstick humor, it's still something you enjoy. The characters they've been icons of animation and pop culture for so long. It only makes sense for them to have attempted another movie this day and age, right? First things first, anyone getting Rocky and Bullwinkle vibes from this movie? I mean, look at this. Just look at that. This animation style is fairly similar, that weird 2D, 3D-ish look. And even the main lead actresses, Piper Perabo in that movie, and then Chloe Grace Moretz in this movie. Anybody? No? Just me? Am I crazy? Okay, yeah, I probably am. Besides that little random bit of nothing, why does this movie not work? Well, it's kind of the same thing as all these other movies that starred Tom and Jerry that didn't work. How many people remember Tom and Jerry and the Magic Ring? How many people remember Tom and Jerry and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? That's not tacked on whatsoever, isn't it? Tom and Jerry meet Sherlock Holmes, all these other random ass fucking movies. Does anybody remember anything remotely good or have even seen any of these movies? Because we had this in the 90s growing up. In 1992, I believe it was released. Tom and Jerry, the movie, the animated, fully animated movie. This movie was so bizarre and out of left field because they had voice actors voice Tom and Jerry. They actually had speaking roles for that entire movie. It starts off like a regular Tom and Jerry cartoon, but then all of a sudden, they're just like, you know what? Our house is broken down. Fuck it, let's talk. And it just broke all of our childhood memories. We're like, what is life? Why is this happening right now? And the fact that they didn't want to fight anymore. They wanted to be friends. There's a goddamn musical number that just... There were so many things wrong with this movie looking back. I've seen clips of it recently in prep for this review. It's so weird. That is one 90s movie I just don't think I want to revisit ever again. At least with this movie, Tom and Jerry the movie 2021, I hate when I have to do that. At least with this movie, I'll give them that much credit. They kept the spirit of their characters. They are silent. They only have the original recordings of Mel Blanc and William Hanna and June Foray for the little yelps and screams and whatnot throughout the film, and that's it. Amazing. They are rivals. They are fighting constantly throughout the film, which is what causes the problems for Chloe Grace Moretz's character when she does get the job opportunity within the hotel. And right there already you feel me not give a shit. I don't give a shit for these characters. I don't give a shit about what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen, that everything's going to be just fine. And even when Tom and Jerry do kind of cause such problems for Chloe Grace Moretz's character, you know she's going to join forces with them to help them understand, hey, maybe stop being rivals and fighting each other all the time, and maybe work together. There's a lot of rapping pigeons for some reason. A lot of random rap songs that are just forced their way into this movie, which I don't get. Or some pop music can actually work. But when it's just constantly there, I think I would rather have a score. That stuff like this, the piano scenes in some of these cartoons from Tom and Jerry are gold. There is a piano scene in this movie, which is great. Again, a nice homage to those cartoons. And considering that this movie's definitely meant for adults like me, who grew up with these, and yes, maybe for the people that have kids, may want to show their kids, hey, this is kind of like what I grew up with, and this is what I want you guys to see. Show them the original cartoons. I know I'm bashing this movie a lot, and I'm sorry for having expectations. I just expect a little bit of good out of any movie I see. And while there is definitely there is some good in this, it's every fucking movie of the last 10 years. The Smurfs movies and stuff like that, it's all the same. At least in this movie, I'll give them credit also, all the animals are animated. Whether it's somebody walking their dog or whether it's somebody having a pet goldfish, they're animated. So I think that's a pretty cool idea. I'm surprised they even went that route instead of just having Tom and Jerry being the only animated characters. I appreciate that. And they even managed to throw in some of the other classic side characters within the Tom and Jerry cartoons. I believe his name was Spike the Bulldog, and the little goldfish, and the little female cat. It's sadly just another Smurfs, another Alvin and the Chipmunks, but slightly better because they actually got the characters right. Everything else is still bland, boring, and so frustrating, and which leads me to my final point. As I already mentioned, Tom and Jerry don't work as movie characters. You can only prolong slapstick humor for so long without just killing your movie. And with Tom and Jerry, you needed a good supporting cast of characters to make something work for an hour and 40 minutes. This movie does not have that. You have several characters that just you don't care about. You have a wedding situation that you don't care about. It's funny to see the slapstick humor unravel. And that's, again, I laughed in this movie. I enjoyed the slapstick humor. But bottom line, it's a mediocre movie that it's something you can turn on in the background and just forget about the next day. Thank you for sticking with me, and despite all my bit of ranting, a lot has happened already in these short 2 months of 2021, but you know what? Despite if like 2 people view this video, I'm beyond happy that you did. I am happy to be back. I can never guarantee when I will make one of these, but you know what? I will always say at least 1 or 2 videos a month. That's my personal goal. And if you check out any of these videos, if you subscribe, if you like, and all that other stuff in between, following me on social media, and all of that other clusterfuck shit, you know, all of that other shit, you know the drill. You know, y'all know how this works. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you so much. I'm Anthony Flores with Worth a Watch. I miss saying keep going to the movies, but you know what? I'll just see you next time.